HBs, I've been busy. Over the past year, I've been secretly organizing a new romance series with Jenny Nordbach and Katie Robert over at Bonkers Romance. It all centers around our fictional Samhain festival, the Shadow Market. And on July 11th, we're launching a Kickstarter for special editions, advanced ebooks, and tons of other cool stuff. Seriously, we've worked so hard, and I'm incredibly proud of what we've created with authors like, Sierra Simone, Adriana Herrera. Woo! I'm linking the Kickstarter in the show notes so that you can follow before the campaign launches. Tiers are going to be limited, so you're going to want to be notified when we finally unleash Katie and she pushes that go button. See you there. Hey everyone, welcome back to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends normally recap romance novels with a comedic touch, but lately have been crushing on Lord Sebastian St. Vincent so hard that we've hit new heights of giddy and ridiculous. This week, we were gifted with an epic bit of brilliance from HB Becky and her super hot husband. So make sure to stick around for a very special song in the outro. Now, to Becky of House Snackosaur, Empress of Canada and Sick Memes, first of her name, protector of all pals, crusher of gushers, savior of trash can cake, co-conspirator of dismantling white supremacist patriarchy, the silver-tongued, hoarder of high chews, the straight shot of joy. We humbly submit our thanks and devotion to you and your esteemed royal consort. And now we're here for the exciting conclusion. We're back to bowing down to the sexiness and perfection that is Sebastian St. Vincent in Devil in Winter by Lisa Kleypas. Here we go. Oh, hey, Erin.
Oh, hi.
Are you so ready for this? What we're doing today? Are you ready?
Yeah, I feel like the way you're saying ready has like a different connotation than like, is your Kindle up?
I mean, have you made yourself ready for
you
St. Vincent and I?
Didn't we determine that what that means is just washing your vagina?
That's Heaving Bosoms canon. Apparently it's like, get out of all your snaps, unlace your corset, brush your hair 33,000 times. Like, it's all that nonsense.
I mean, I have done those things. I did just take a shower.
Oh.
And I'm not wearing any snaps.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Me neither, actually, that I think about it.
I am ready. You're wearing like a scarf that you would wear for people outside of your house. You're wearing like a fancy scarf that you would wear like the opera or something.
Yeah, agreed. So I don't know if anybody knows about my obsession with knockoff pashminas.
You know what, though? I feel like just by knowing you on the podcast, they could probably guess that you would have an obsession with knockoff pashminas. Like, that's very on brand.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's just a truth of my life. So I discovered, because I'm like always cold, you know?
You are cold.
And we spent so much money on like heating the house last month. So I'm even colder now. And then I remembered I have all of these beautiful pashminas that knockoff pashminas that I don't wear anymore because I don't go outside. And I was like,
right.
You know what? Fuck it. They're warm.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. It looks like I have an accessory on. And I'm like with it. I'm a lady who has it together. And it's a big scam.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Have you tried wearing an electric blanket around the house and just always being near an outlet? Because
is that an Erin life hack?
Yeah, it's a life hack. You can just, and then the other day I said to somebody like, why haven't they, it's so crazy that they haven't invented electric blankets that have a battery pack. And they were like, they have. Instead of me just going from outlet to outlet, like plugging in.
That is so funny.
Wearing it like a cape.
I love that so much. Can I tell you about a thing that happened this week?
Sure.
Okay, so Jen from Post Pouring Company sent me a couple of candles because in our self-care boner boxes, we put a bunch of, we put a Post Porco candle in each one because we decided to support small business owning HBs as much as we could. So there's like a t-shirt from Rachel Ross and of course Chickaloo Kate stuff and then candles from Post Porco.
And this is Patreon stuff. This is what you get if you're...
Yeah, self-care
boner. You
boner
said the boner
Patreon
level, but I didn't know if you said Patreon.
Oh,
this is Patreon stuff.
Yeah. So we sent those out. So she sent me, I got a surprise box, a couple of candles. And one of them is her Keep Being a Badass candle. So it's sitting on my dining room table, as you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's totally normal. So Ember was sitting there at the dining room table. He's like munching on some noodles or whatever. And Michael and I just hear him going, bad, Dad, what's a badass?
And what did you say?
Well, Michael took that one because I was like a little bit further away, and he was
like, "Mommy is Ember. Mommy is."
If only. Although that would create so many more problems.
That would create an issue.
Instead, he said, "Oh, but don't worry about it. That's a grown-up word. We can talk about it later."
Later, like in years.
Years. When you put it together on your own, when you understand compound words, we will talk about it.
And that's going to seep into his head so long. He's going to see that candle every day and be like, I need to know. That will become a part of his adult memory.
And isn't it so cool because the label on it is like this badass lady like showing her muscle or something. It's basically like a Rosie the Riveter lady on it.
Oh,
and
then
so
that changed because I used to have Keep Being a Badass and it was like a lady reading, I thought.
Yeah. She's changed them. They're like,
okay.
They're like super extra chic now. They were great before, but they're like really cool and vivid now. Anyway. Yeah. And then
I think she may have sent me some candles too, but I haven't checked my box.
You haven't picked it up yet, I'm sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the other day we were like listening to the kids out in the living room, we were just like in the kitchen and Michael goes, what did Ember just say? And I was like, I don't know, I didn't hear him say anything because I tune them out so much. And he was like, hey, Amber, what'd you just say? And he goes, I said, heaving bosoms.
Ooh.
And so Michael immediately starts muttering, we're going to get so many calls from the school district. Badass, heaving bosoms. Like, parents are going to call. And I was like, yeah, they are. Yeah, and I'm going to say, we're a sex-positive household.
I can't wait to tell them about my small business. Yep, Melody. You're like, it's like free advertising. Can't wait.
Right. He's got a little bullhorn out there.
I think I told you about the time that I was with a child at a restaurant and there was a flyer for the vagina monologues.
Ooh.
And he was maybe 10 at the time. 9 maybe. I don't know. But he saw the thing and he was reading all the different flyers out loud.
Well, he loves doing that, especially at 10. I remember that.
Yeah. And he was reading everything out loud. And then all of a sudden he shouted, the Vagina Monologos. And it was so funny.
Oh, it's so pure.
He didn't ask what it meant or anything. He was just so confident in the idea that was the pronunciation. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Are you
born ready?
Ready. Okay, listener.
Part 3, the final installment.
Probably the final
of The Devil in Winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm making no promises, but probably. So when we left you, listener, Evie and Sebastian St. Vincent, the most sexiest of the lords of all the Kleypas lordlings.
Kidnapper and attempted rapist.
That's the one
we've ever read about.
He does such a good threaten. So they have just made their bet. Evie's like, you want this? Then you spend 3 months
it up.
Totally celibate. Yeah, put your dick in a cage. And at 3 months, it's on. We're doing it forever.
And keep in mind that part of this was that he specified after that she didn't say he couldn't kiss her.
That's right. He can kiss her as often as he wants and as long as he wants. And that is what she will give him to do this. Damn you, he said.
Yes.
And also, there's been this Joss Bullard problem, right? Because this also...
Then there's the B plot.
Like,
and it's he's like around and he's trying to kill her. B plot. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
So he got away because Cam like grew up with him and he was like, you need to just fuck off before Sebastian St. Vincent kills you.
Mm-hmm.
And Joss Bullard did. And Cam noticed when, he did that Joss was like a little weird. He was like a little weird.
So has Cam already gone and had the conversation with him and everything?
Yeah, we
where
skipped
Bullard's
it.
like, I want to kill her and like throw her to the rats until it's just bones and Nuva rings.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's verbatim, too. I remember that quote from the book.
It was very
just bones
jarring
and Nuva
to
rings.
me.
Yeah, I know.
Just bones and Nuva rings. That's all that's left.
So... All right.
I don't know what episode that's a callback to. We've had a lot of callbacks in this series.
We have. No, that was from
Nostalgia.
Werewolf, one of the Naked Werewolves.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Molly Harper.
Okay.
All right.
So St. Vincent is like, I want you to hire every private investigator in London town, and we're going to find this motherfucker, goddammit, because nobody comes after my wife.
Suddenly, St. Vincent, who would kidnap and threaten to rape and marry somebody against their will to avoid being poor, now spare no expense. I will be the poorest. Burn down the club if you must. Hire every investigator in town.
His priorities have changed, Erin.
They have. All right. Okay.
All right. So she says, don't take your anger out on Cam because he's been yelling at him about letting Bullard go. And he goes, that's Mr. Rohan to you. And she's like, he's been my friend since I was 5. What is your issue? You act like I've had admirers clamoring for my attention. And like men used to go out of their way to avoid me, including you. So like, lock it up.
Lock it up.
Go. And he flips it and he's like, you didn't make it easy to approach you. The male ego is fragile, and I assure you that one smile is all I would have needed to jump on you like a grouse on a laurel. Woo!
I don't know what that meant,
but
it sounded like
stick.
A thing. Oh, did you say clown on a pogo stick? That is a different sort of thing.
I disagree. Like a
wait,
tiger.
I really want to.
On a muskrat.
Yeah, that's more normal. Let's walk back to the clown thing. Is that a hot analogy for you? Just a clown bouncing up and down on a pogo stick?
I doubt that a grouse is any hotter. Like grouse?
I think really anything would be.
Right?
I think anything would be hotter than a clown bouncing on a pogo stick.
What else jumps, Erin? What do you got? Come on. Like, throw a simile at me and then you can...
I don't... Listen, here's the thing. I didn't try, so I couldn't fail. All right?
Like an Olympian at a track meet.
Yeah. You don't miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Put that on a poster. Erin said that.
No, you do miss 100%. All right, well, you mangled that. The famous saying with the kitten hanging there, you know, the inspirational poster.
Are you referring to hang in there?
What is there like a sports ball on the other one? What's on that inspirational poster?
Like a darkened gym with like a basketball and the thing
a spotlit basketball.
Yeah, spotlit basketball or like a hockey. Because I think it's attributed to both Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky in different posters.
Well, one of them's a biter. So and so she's like, oh no, he looks at her and he's like, do what you like, but when you're talking to any other man, keep in mind that you belong to me completely.
Hot.
And it was basically a sploosh, you know?
Yeah, it was a sploosh.
Then they realize that he's jealous, and she sort of ribs him about it, and he concedes and says, throwing Evie a glance of bewildered annoyance, he left the room. I just love it. Okay. So then you guys, boy, I don't know if you knew this about Sebastian, the Lord St. Vincent, but
I did. What is it?
he throws good funeral.
Oh my God, I'm going to choke. Damn. I love this is you know the thing of like when you don't like somebody, that comedian is like whatever they do, you're like, look at that bitch eating crackers over there. Yes. When you do like somebody, you're like, look at that man throw a funeral.
That's
damn,
right.
he does
so
it good.
Extravagant. There are so many horses before that carriage.
Does that make is that what a good funeral is?
Look at those brass handles on that coffin. Anyway, so
he does though, because Ivo Jenner would have wanted like a really great big deal parades in the streets style funeral,
and that's what he does.
And
there is a parade,
and he spends a lot of money on this, which is a big deal because like he really likes money, and he tossed a lot of it away on the funeral of this guy who shouldn't mean anything to him, except that his daughter does.
He did it for love.
He did it for her.
All right, and then she sees Joss Bullard like out in the crowd, and a shiver goes down her spine because he is a big danger.
Isn't he like standing far away in the field, like the stranger that's like in a hill, like with an umbrella, a stranger?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that guy at the Kennedy assassination, that one.
Sure, yeah,
So then he immediately realizes, like he's so in tune with her body that she does like the tiniest shiver, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not bring the brick?
Do you need something?
Should we leave to be cozy?
Can I make you more cozy?
Yeah. Do you require coziness? Because I am your man.
Is your blanket not plugged in, my dear?
We have to get this lady closer to an outlet.
Get her closer to an outlet.
Everybody move.
No, you guys, this is a historical thing. In England times, they didn't have outlets or electric blankets.
Oh, shit. Erin, you are spitting some knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had to do is like more like a fire situation.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so she's like, "Oh no, I'm just cold," and he's like, "Well, then we must away. We have to get the carriage immediately." And so he takes all the guys and he takes her away. And she sends Cam after Bullard. So in the carriage, he tells her his plans of like renovating the casino and like reopening in 2 weeks or whatever. And he's like, when that happens, when the club reopens, you're going to go live in the townhouse. And
you will live with me. Wait, is that the one where he's like with me or in the country?
No, in the townhouse. He's going to stay at the club.
With him.
No.
Oh, right. That's right. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cut it. What? Cut it. I'm bad at you're supposed to be remembering things in 2021 and I'm so bad at it.
Well, now it's funny, so I'm not cutting it.
Sorry, there's a lot of parts of this book where he tells her she's going to go live different places. And
It's
forgot.
true.
Okay, yeah.
He loves a threat.
Yeah. He's going to live in the club. She's going to go live in his house.
Yeah. His outward thing is like, I can't keep you safe in the club. You'll be accosted or whatever. But the real thing is like, my dick cannot be in close proximity to you for 3 months if I
need to win this bet.
Yeah.
It's very important to me.
It's very cute. And so she knows this. She's like, no, he's just putting distance between us. But then after she tries to fight it, he looks at her and he goes, there's no reason for you to live at the club. You're not needed there.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, does that just a dagger to her insecure heart.
Because what she hears is that he doesn't need her, but he does.
Just like her dad never needed her and always sent her to the Maybricks. And now her husband's sending her away to the townhouse. And boy, is she sad.
Also, if she's not at the club, how can she monitor whether or not he's sleeping with other bitches?
Yeah.
She doesn't say it out loud, but that's what Erin was thinking. You need to be on it.
You do. You need to be circling like a hawk all the time. All right? Helicopter wife. You don't know what that is, Evie, but it's true.
He leaves his room at night and you're just sitting out there with a chair and a tea. Just be like, oh, hello.
Were you leaving across his door? The outside in the hallway.
Yep.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, he's like, how you're not going to know if I lose the bet. And she's like, yes, I will. I'll be able to smell it on you or whatever. Let me
she
smell
doesn't
that
say that.
dick.
That's gross. She doesn't say that.
She does.
We've talked about smelling dick, haven't we?
We have to have.
I think we have.
Yeah. Let me smell your dick is a classic. All right. It's a YouTube phenomenon. If you don't know what it is, Google it up. It's hilarious.
Dirty foot bitches. I've used that insult so many times.
Have you really?
Yeah, dirty foot bitches.
Wow.
Like women who take off their heels in the club. Gross.
Oh no, that's me.
I know who it is. I'm sorry, I love you so much.
You know what? When you're right, you're right. I'm a dirty foot bitch. It's just down to my core. That's who I am. Okay. All right. So meanwhile, Cam then goes into the Rookery, which is in England times, a place in London where like all the poor people live, basically, and they're just packed in. Poor things like sardines, and it's really hard to find people in there because you can just scoop into an alley and down through a basement and up through other stuff. So he basically is like, you need to get your shit together, Bullard. This is not going to happen. And Bullard's like, I'll take her down with me. I'm never going to. And Cam realizes that he's an absolute lost cause. Okay, so then Cam comes back and he's like, we should tell St. Vincent. And she's like, no, we absolutely should not. He's already a stress ball. We shouldn't worry him about it. And instead, they decide that Cam is going to seal up all of the secret passages and secret entries into the casino so that Bullard can't get in.
Which is smart thing to do.
Yeah, smart things. Yeah. And also Cam comforts her about being imminently sent away. So now we've got this montage.
But did we miss this sex scene? I've just got this sex scene up, and I keep waiting for us to get to it. We just
is it in the billiard room?
Oh man, I don't know where it happened.
Is it St. Vincent in the billiard room with the Cunnilingus? Is it that one?
Yeah, it is. Okay. Is it gonna happen soon?
Soon.
This whole episode, everything we've talked about is not in my notes, but this is.
Fair.
Yeah.
I know, it's a hot. We'll get to it, I promise.
Funeral, Bullard, Cam. Yeah.
It's important to the plot that we have to get to all of this. Okay, so now we've got this montage of St. Vincent, like, learning the club and being an awesome boss and stuff. And then she comes down while he's learning gambling probabilities. And he says that she needs to go to bed because she's been pushing herself too hard. And she's like, I've barely been able to do anything. And also it helps with the crippling grief. And he's like, well, I know. That's also why I'm letting you do it.
Yeah.
So then he sends Cam away because Cam is the one who's been teaching St. Vincent all the things. And Cam is a big competence boner, like all the way around. Any way you square it, Cam's a big competence boner. So then he's like, I'm going to torture you a little, my beautiful little wifey.
He said, hi, good morning. This is where my notes start. He says that, he's like, did you think that like the 3 months was just going to be one-sided?
Oh, yeah. He says, the higher the fire burns in me, I'm going to stoke it in you. Gosh.
He talks about how he's been so tortured, and she's like, you mean like figuratively? And he's like, no, I'm afraid that I mean literally.
Oh, yeah.
Tortured.
And he says he's going to torture her, and then he starts doing a big makeout on her, and she's like, we're going to be seen. And he's like, I don't care. You're
my wife.
Yeah, you're my wife. And I don't care if anybody sees. And boy. So then she's panting. He's between her legs, like, she's got skirts and stuff, but he's in there. And then there's a very demure throat clearing that happens. And one of the workmen come up and he's like, St. Vincent, I hate to break out this really hot makeout session, but there's some issues down there. We've got 3 hammered workmen, and they are going to crazy fisticuffs, and they're breaking everything.
So what? Like, everybody who works here can punch. Like, everyone down there is a cord, you know? Like, just punch them. Punch them out. Punch them out of here.
No, Erin, they're testing him.
I know,
again.
But that's what his response is. Like, get this guy. And he's like, oh, he's indisposed. Get this guy. He's also indisposed. And he's like, is everyone? Do you see what I'm doing here?
I have very important business.
Is everyone in the whole club busy right now? And they're like, yes, wink. everyone is busy. You must get to the puncheon now.
So then he does. He goes all the way downstairs, and boy, does he do a pugilism with those three guys. He's punching and a punching, and he's dodging and a weaving and stuff. He's flying like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. And eventually...
Listen, he doesn't do that great. Like, he does fine, but it's not like that great.
There are three of them.
Yes, I know, but one of the things that I love, Jenny Reads Romance was making fun of me on Twitter because everything that she doesn't love about St. Vincent are the things that I love, and vice versa about Derek Craven. But I love that he's like bad at fighting, but he tries. Like, I love that he's kind of fighting.
He just doesn't take cheap shots.
He's kind of a soft boy when it comes to fighting because he hasn't done it before. He didn't grow up in the mean streets of London.
No, he grew up in the fancy streets of London.
The fancy streets of England times.
Those
and so
ones.
he's not doing great. And she keeps trying to like get in there and like try to get Cam to help him and stuff. And Cam literally has her around the waist from getting into this fight.
Yeah, because she wants to protect her man.
Yeah.
She's going to guard and protect his heart. All right. Yeah, no, he's like, you got to let him handle it so the employees will respect him. And then when the fight is over, Cam's like, you know, you're pretty... Oh, he says you fight like a gentleman.
Yeah, because he did, like, refuse to do, like you were saying, like,
he doesn't
dumb
take cheap
stuff.
shots.
Like, yeah. Hair pulling.
Hair pulling.
Eye gouging.
Crotch
kneeing. Yeah.
Fist stomping. Nope. Foot stomping.
All the things they teach you to do, ladies. He wouldn't do any of those things.
No, he refuses. And Cam's like, that's going to be more dangerous for you and the patrons. Like, we all have to take turns doing the security in here, and that includes the boss, historically. So, like, the longer you and the patrons are fighting, the higher the chance that both of you are going to be gravely injured in one way or another. So, like, you just have to put them down. That's all. And so they bring over this guy, and he's a good fighter, and so he flips St. Vincent over his shoulder, and they're showing him some moves and stuff. And it's pretty great.
Well, because he says to Cam, like, I have standards, and like, and Cam's like, no, but you can't have like standards in this one area of your life and then have no standards in the whole rest of your life. Like, you're the owner of a gambling club now. So he talks him into. Yeah,
no, Cam is like, respectfully, you need to choose which set of standards you want to live by and then put all of your life in that column.
Yeah.
You can't own a gambling club, but refuse to fight like a gambling club owner. You can't be a gentleman, but like, you know, be with the working men or whatever. So yeah, Cam gives him a really respectful dressing down, and St. Vincent does that thing where he's like, I have heard what you are saying. And I'm gonna go think about it.
Yep.
It's really cute. So
then our friends come over.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter with Annabelle and Daisy, and I don't want to get into it. Let's skip it.
Well,
it's cute.
Let's skip it, but let's also say that, like, you know that friend that did... Wait, is it just Annabelle and Daisy? It's not Lillian yet?
No, it's not. No, she's still in her honeymoon.
Okay, let's kind of skip it. But this is where Daisy gets schnurfled, is it not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you guys remember how we mentioned how Cam schnurfles Daisy? Yeah. That happens, and it's very hot. And there's a Pegasus tattoo.
Oh, my God.
And there's a secret passage.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, a library. It's good.
It's her first kiss, and she does that thing. She does that adorable thing where she's like, he's like, yeah, so how was your first kiss? And she's like, it was fine. And he's like, oh, hell no. And then he goes in for like another one. Oh, it's a very sexy, but we don't have time for that. So
yeah. And also her friends are like, this bet is bad. He's going to cheat on the bet. She tells him about the bet. The 3-month thing.
Oh, yeah.
No one has confidence in this situation.
No, not at all. So she comes down. Okay, so now he's with the Masons, all right? And she comes down and she says, oh, I'm kind of bored and hungry and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, I can definitely fix that.
You like to play pool with me in the billiards room? Hi.
That's the one. Erin has arrived.
Good evening. It's me, Erin. And I'm here. Hello.
Erin has things to contribute. So they go into that billiards room and he like probably feeds her again and stuff.
Oh, God, he's always got snacks.
I know.
He's always got snacks. He's always cozy. He's always plugging your blanket in for you.
And he's so playful.
Then he starts to show her the proper motions of a cue stick.
Okay, I have a question for you, Erin.
Yes.
Erin. That is this how you hold your cue stick, or do you hold it the other way?
I don't know, because I didn't pay attention to how they held a cue stick.
How dare you? It's one of the most important sections of this sequence.
I just knew there was a press up against and a lean over.
Yeah, that happens too. So he teaches her to do it where your index finger is like completely around the cue stick, and then it's sitting on the rest of your hand. And so then he's showing her in and out, practice strokes. And then he notices that she's looking at it being like, that looks like a penis in a vagina.
What a
and then
weird
he
thing
says,
to get horny about.
Well, she's
on edge. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Come on. And he looks at her and he says, actually, he does not look at her because remember, he's leaning over her and he's got his penis pressed up against her ass and stuff. And he breathes down her neck and into her ear and he says, shame on you. No proper young woman would have such thoughts.
Because he knows. He knows what he's doing. No, that's not how I hold a cue stick.
Good.
I think there have been times where I have.
You do this,
maybe.
right? With the in the crook of your the crook of your thumb.
But I think there might be an instance to do it the other way. I think I have done it that way before.
Yeah, sure. But I think
usually it's like this, like the
it's
crook.
so much harder because you have to chalk your hand so much more. You're constantly chalking your index finger. Ugh, I don't like it.
You chalk your finger? Is that a thing?
So there's the blue chalk that you put on the pool cue, and then a lot of times they'll have another like white chalk around, a big block of white chalk, so that you can keep your
like rock climbing,
sort of, yeah, so that you can keep your hands dry and smooth. Because otherwise, when you do it with the index finger, you end up going because it sticks to a sweaty hand.
My hands are always dry and smooth.
Wow,
I never get nervous at all.
What a weird brag.
Wouldn't it be great if like somebody went to a pool hall and had like the little bag of chalk people use for rock climbing?
Yeah. No, it's
just
not
dunk
like
their
that.
hands in there every time.
It's not a bag.
Or at gymnastics, they do it too.
Right.
You know?
It's not loose chalk. Right.
But wouldn't it be great though?
It would be really funny. They're like, I am so serious about pool. I will cover everyone in here in chalk. All right.
I love it.
Okay, sorry. So we got off track. So they play that
way
pool.
Off track.
He's showing her trick shots and stuff. He's teaching her things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of touching and flirting. And he says something about like, he makes a lot of self-deprecating jokes. And so he says, God help me if I lose my looks, as if like I'll have nothing left. And she, without thinking about it, says, I wouldn't mind. And he's like,
lose your looks.
What? Yeah. And she says, I wouldn't mind.
Because he's like, but I'm so handsome. Like,
right. And she's like, I would still want you to be my husband for all the other reasons that you're great. And he does a big man swoon.
Mm-hmm. Big man swoon.
He has to like school his features, and then he definitely pushes her up against the door and locks it, and then lifts her skirts up, and he commands that she hold them up at her waist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he does that cunnilingus in the billiards room. You know?
Back to you, John. And then he did the cunnilingus in the billiards room. Yeah. But oh god, it's like because he can kiss her and she didn't say where or when or how long he's gonna.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was so good. It was so
you
good.
Didn't specify where. Ooh. All right, so now it's reopening.
And it's like
night.
kind of like a little bit public too. Like I know that he locked the door, but it's like in the like.
It's right by the hallway, and you know that those walls are not thick. Like she had to like keep her voice down because if she cried out in the ecstasy that she wanted to, everybody would have known. And like, who cares?
Like no one's gonna walk in. It's not public like that, but it's just a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's at work. You know, it's at work.
I gotta tell you, if I was in Evie's position, I don't think I would. I don't think I would keep it down.
You're a performer, Melody, and we know that. It's been said on the podcast before.
I'm not a
Melody,
performer.
the exhibitionist, is not a secret.
No, I'm just saying, you know, with a husband
What's
like
the
St.
one
Vincent,
we read where the guy
everybody
like
should
carried the
know.
lady over his head to go
Oh, yeah.
do her on the stage?
The Pied Piper of...
Pied
That
Piper.
is Nicola Davidson's
Duke of...
shit.
Duke...
The Viscount...
The Viscount
with the Fount of
Vice.
Vices.
Vice
Vices of
the
the Viscount.
Viscount.
God damn it.
Viscount the Vice. Google it. You guys get it.
You'll get it.
You'll
good.
find it.
Nicola Davidson, Heaving Bosoms. Google that up.
Anyway, I'm saying the exhibitionist side of you, I think, came out in that episode. I believe it is no longer a secret.
I mean...
Oh boy. It's July, folks. That means new Bonkers book club selections. And let me tell you, our cup runneth over. First, there's a historical smorgasbord. You get the entire box set of Nicola Davidson's Surrey SFS series. If you're not familiar, that stands for Sexual Freedom Society. This box set includes 5 ridiculously spicy historicals, with a variety of gender pairings and trios, and so much more that makes my heart sing. Then, Jenny and Katie are offering up one of their all-time favorites, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. That's the mafia book where the heroine accidentally sets the hero's house on fire, and then makes sure her mouth is full of strawberries because she knows he's extremely allergic. Best wedding kiss ever, right? And then we decided to do a little bonus. We wanted to see if audiobooks are something you'd like as part of book club. And Lorrainne and Meg Ann have a series called The Mate Games. You get to listen to Book 1, Obsession. It's a paranormal reverse harem that's done with duet narration. And the cast of narrators is insanely good. So, Joybringers have tons to look forward to. If you want to join, check out our website. The link is in the show notes.
So now it's reopening night, everyone.
It's the night.
Yes.
I don't have any highlighting for some time.
Oh, I do. I have all the highlighting. Okay.
All right.
So he pulls her into the office and he's like, why are you still here? You should have been gone 8 hours ago.
Oh,
It is, in fact, your deadline. And she goes, oh, I'm just still packing. And he's
Packing
like,
all
"You've
my
been
things. I have so
packing
many
for
things.
3 days. You only have 6 gowns. You're dawdling." And she's so cute because she's like, well, it is dinner time. And like, is it so awful to like maybe want a last meal? And so they're bickering back and forth about that. And then stomp, stomp, stomp. Westcliff comes in. Oh, the Lord
If you
Westcliff.
do recall,
Yes.
Sebastian St. Vincent did kidnap and try to rape his now wife, and then
Yes.
Westcliff did beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he is in fact an aggrieved former friend.
Mm-hmm.
And Evie immediately takes Sebastian's side. She's like standing right next to him.
And Sebastian, like a fucking asshole,
Oh,
goes,
God.
"How was the honeymoon?" I love him. It's the first thing out of his mouth.
I love him so much. So Westcliff is like, hey, Lillian sent me over here because we need you to know that you always have a safe space in our
he
house.
doesn't even, Sebastian's like, "How was the honeymoon?" Westcliff doesn't even address him.
Yeah.
He immediately goes over to Evie and is like, "I need to know whether you're here against your will.
Hey, girl.
I need to know whether you're okay.
I'm about to be your knight in shining armor. Get on my white horse.
I can't wait to beat the shit out of this guy a second time."
I'd love to. Love to. Got my brass knuckles out. So she's like, oh no, this is great. I love my situation. I'm the one who proposed to him. It is the perfect blah, blah, blah. Also, I really don't think that my husband would have done this had he known that you and Lillian were a love match because you are his closest friend since childhood and he loves you and I know it.
What a mistake.
God.
That totally excuses it. You know, like that one mistake of logic just batted away.
But
I love this. Oh,
yes,
sorry.
In St. Vincent's inner monologue. Is that what you're going to talk about?
No, I was going to talk about some more snark. Please.
Oh, well, that'll happen
continue.
later. Yeah, but the inner monologue leads up to the snark because he's like, holy shit. She's like standing right next to me as if we are a team and this is weird. Holy fuck. She's defending me and she's defending indefensible actions, right? Like, holy balls.
Against her best friend.
Against her best friend. Yeah. And then he is like, and then, oh, there's something else that like really tips him over the edge. Oh, it's that he does not apologize, not even by proxy.
No.
And so he looks at her and he's like, what is it going to take to get you out of here? I want you out of my sight. Like, go to Westcliff if you have to, but you need to leave. And she, in the most... Oh, wait, is there more snark?
I think we're past my snark.
I'm sorry, tell me everything. Tell the listener.
So,
listener is on the edge of their seat.
She said that with such sincerity.
It's true. Prove me wrong, listener. At me.
So she says, in regard to the marriage, that she doesn't regret her decision. I would do it again without hesitation.
So
Lord
good.
St. Vincent has been nothing but kind to me.
She's
She's lying,
lying.
of course, Sebastian said with a callous laugh. While his pulse began to vibrate frantically in his veins. With Evie's soft body tucked against his side, he could feel her warmth, smell her skin. He couldn't understand why she was trying to defend him. That's the inner monologue you're referring to.
Yes.
I have been a bastard to her, he told Westcliff flatly. Fortunately for me, Lady St. Vincent was so ill-used by her family for so long that she has no conception of what it is to be treated well. That's not true, Evie said to Westcliff. I love that even in this very tense situation where it really behooves him for his wife to be like, I'm not here under duress. Mm-hmm. He's a good man and I love him. He's like, can't let anybody think that. He's like,
how dare
no,
you?
Terrible.
I'm
I've
a villain.
kidnapped this one as well.
Whoa! Like, he's working on that bad guy laugh. He's like mustache twirling for effect. Okay.
Erin
just got so turned on.
Stop it. I'm flushed.
I'm sorry. Am I confusing you? Are you?
Yes. You are my pet.
No, don't. We were platonic friends, Erin. Don't. I'll do a big confuse. Okay. All right. So he tells her to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And she's like, so she does the dignified lady. She just looks at him with this piercing gaze, and then she tosses her nose up and she leaves the room. And then she starts going out the thing. And Westcliff is like, hey, bro, you're a different man. I've never met this St. Vincent. And it seems like you might be pretty attached to your wife and stuff.
Right.
And Sebastian's like, we can talk about it later, but I really need to make sure that I apologize to her and get her safely.
I can't let her go through the club either without me being, because what if somebody
cops her?
Uh-huh.
I will not have anybody hurting my wife, my beloved wife, who I love so much, who I don't want to disagree. Never mind. What?
But it's
what
like
did I just say?
Exactly. It's in the same conversation where he's like, I don't love her at all, but I must go escort her so no one touches her inappropriately. And I don't give a shit what happens to her, but I must leave right now in case something happens to her. So please, it's very, very funny.
It's so cute. Okay. So she's really far ahead of him. She's like 30 paces.
Melody is making that up, listener.
And it's a crowded club and stuff. So he makes eye contact with Cam, who is all the way across the room, which is at least a football field, I'm sure of it. And Cam is like, oh, I got eyes on her. She's going to come over here. But then something gets a little prickly in both he and Cam's bodies. And Cam's like looking around, being like, what's amiss? And he's like, what's going on? I don't know. And then up in the balcony,
it's a flash.
He spies Joss Bullard with a pistol. And so he takes off like a bat out of hell. And he's a running and he's like a gazelle. And he's getting on tables and pushing people down, and he's doing backflips to get over
like
there.
Like a clown on a pogo stick doing a performance for a big
like
crowd.
That.
Boing, 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 as fast as he can toward her.
It's the fastest way to get there. And so he does get there.
And then, ba-bang!
Yeah, but he also tackles her. And he turns around.
Bang.
And he's hit.
And she tackles to the floor. Yeah. And she's like, why did you push me down? You're really mean right now.
What was that sound? Also, it was
what was that
very
big
loud.
Bang sound like a gunshot? Why did you push me? And his
immediately is like, okay? Are you okay? Can I touch you everywhere to make sure there's no holes in you?
Do a hand rake to make sure there's no holes.
Meanwhile, he can feel the blood going from his side and across his
very nice,
pectorals,
well-fitted clothes. Just saturating that tailored suit that he's wearing.
All right. So then Evie, comes around real quick. She's picking up what the universe is throwing down now. And she's like, oh my God, my husband has been shot. And Westcliff comes over. And, oh my God, he looks at her. He says, this is what I get for trying to appear heroic. I'm going to stick to villainy from now on. It's much safer. Oh my gosh.
But before that, when everybody kind of like descends on him, like Cam and Westcliff and all these guys, he's like, that guy, Bullard, he was aiming at Evie. You need to keep her, like, you need to get her out of here. Like, he's
protect
still
my
here.
wife. Keep her safe. Yeah. Keep my wife safe. And Westcliff is very like, nothing's going to happen to your wife, who I know you love so much. So he does tell him about Bullard. And he's like, well, do you think that he shot Evie because he was getting back at you and that's the best way to hurt you? And Sebastian's like, no, that's crazy. Everybody knows this isn't a love match. Like, what are you talking about? Meanwhile, they pull his shirt apart. Evie
pulls his shirt apart, and then her hand slips beneath the mound of coats to reach the bare surface of his chest. I'm reading, if it's not clear. I don't say words that good and pretty. Her palm rested over the weak throb of his heart, and her fingertips traced over the thread of a fine gold chain that hung around his neck. Following the chain, she discovered the Scottish gold wedding brand dangling from the end of it. Sebastian had not wanted her to find out that he wore the ring beneath his clothes. Yes. Agitated, he whispered, means nothing. Just wanted to keep it safe for you. I understand, Evie murmured.
I'm obsessed with him.
Obsessed.
Okay. All right, so then he looks at Westcliff and he's like, I'm so sorry about that thing I did do to your fiance, now wife, but also because I am so sorry, I really need you to keep my bitch safe. You've got to keep Evie safe, please, Westcliff. Like, everything in me needs you to keep her safe. And Westcliff's like, of course I will. I'm the most honorable man on the planet. So, wow. Also, Erin, you know how much I love a sickbed scene.
Yes, but also in this part where he's like losing consciousness, I made the note, just like the X-Files, and now I have no idea what I meant. Sarah, help me.
Oh, you know what? So the important thing about that is that, she looks at him and she's like, hey, by the way, you've given me the perfect reason to stay here. I'm going to stay here until you're back on your feet. So like, I'm staying here. Maybe that was why. I don't know.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Sarah Whitney, famous author and friend. Yeah. Close friend of mine, famous author, Sarah. Would you mind reading this passage and telling me what I meant? Because I can't. I have no idea. All right. Okay.
All right. So they get him upstairs and the doctor goes in and he is one of those Western quacks who believes in poisoned blood and humors and bleeding and stuff. And he's like, well, it's a through and through and it should be fine, but there's going to be a fever and like we got to watch it. So he looks at her and he says, Evie, go with Westcliff after. Yeah. And she doesn't know what she means. And she's like, after what? And then she realizes he means his looming death.
Because she's like relieved that like the bullet hasn't hit any organs. So she's like, oh, we're good. Because if you recall, Evie, anti-masker. Anti-vaxxer, does not understand medicine at all. Boy. But Sebastian understands that even though it hasn't hit any vital organs,
he's not in the clear.
Infected. And that's going to be the thing that kills him.
Yeah. So she's like, no, absolutely not. There's going to be no after. I will take care of you till you're better. And I think she says something like, if my love can hold you here, it will.
Oh my God, if my love can hold you here.
Balls. Jeez. So then the fever comes. The inevitable fever gets there.
He gets real sick. Yeah.
And she brings the doctor back. And he's like, "Milady, we have to do all the bleeding. We have to bleed him until he dies." And she's like, "Boy, that sounds like a great idea, doctor.
Great idea.
You're a doctor. You know medicines." And St. Vincent is like, "No, I will actually die if this quack does that to me. Like, you can't let him. You can't let him. Evie, you can't. And she's really torn because the doctor is in her ear being like, he's fevered. Mm-hmm. He's not even going to remember this. He can't make any solid choices. Mm-hmm. But she does back her husband up. And she's like, he is able to make his own
I was a little bit,
medical choices.
I was happy that Evie let him make his own medical choices, but I was also like, listen, if Evie treated Sebastian like Sebastian treated Evie earlier in the book, where he did not allow her to make her own medical decisions about her own body.
What?
When she didn't want to wear a mask.
It's just, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Me too. I'm just like, but I was just a little bit like, hey. It's a little.
Oh, you thought she would like do a petty and be like,
no,
you didn't let me
she would. But I just felt a little bit, I told you so. Like, I just felt a little bit like, well, if I treated you like you treated me, it would be, if I were like, he belongs to me, he's my husband, I'll let his blood out as much as I want, because that's what she thinks is going to save him. You know, she is pro bloodletting.
Yeah, because she's a big dumb dummy.
Again, she's
about this sort of thing.
Good at these things. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
You know what, though? That's all the gender politics.
I agree.
Like, there was no way Evie was going to do that, because, you know, the husband
I'm glad
is the
she
one
listened to him. I'm glad that he was. I'm glad she listened to him, and I'm glad he forced her to wear a mask. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, okay. So then she's standing by him as the doctor flounces out, because now he has been maligned. And she's like crying over him, and she's like, what are we going to do now that the only doctor, like the best doctor in London, won't come here? And he's like, no doctors. I just need you. Just you. And man, so then the fever, boy, it gets way worse. Okay. And Cam comes into the room. Yeah. And she's like, she's been up for 3 days now. It's like 3 days in.
Yeah.
If not more. She's been swabbing, and she's got the things open, and she's trying so hard. So Cam comes in to check on them, and he's like, my grandmother was a healer, and she did this moss stuff, and she irrigated the wound with salt water.
The 4 o'clock plant.
There's a 4 o'clock plant that he must chew to get the fever down.
A chewing plant. Yes.
Yep. And Evie's like, cool, yes, let's try all of that. And then Westcliff and Lillian show up, and Lillian is hilarious throughout this. We'll get to it. But Westcliff's like, yeah, and also turpentine. And Lillian's like, yeah, and garlic juice. And Evie's like, put it in a vat.
Yeah,
just
Evie's
put
like
it all together. I don't care.
Anti-vax, anti-mask. She thinks an oil can cure anything. Like, Evie's like, if it's an essential oil, pour it on my husband's gunshot wound, because it probably works.
That's not how it is. She's desperate, and she's listening to the wise people around her. Erin.
No, these things work, obviously.
Yes. This is not an essential oil situation.
This is much better than the bloodletting. I'm just making jokes. I'm making jokes. Jeez.
No, I like it.
Oh, boy. It's July, folks. That means new Bonkers book club selections. And let me tell you, our cup runneth over. First, there's a historical smorgasbord. You get the entire box set of Nicola Davidson's Surrey SFS series. If you're not familiar, that stands for Sexual Freedom Society. This box set includes 5 ridiculously spicy historicals, with a variety of gender pairings and trios, and so much more that makes my heart sing. Then, Jenny and Katie are offering up one of their all-time favorites, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. That's the mafia book where the heroine accidentally sets the hero's house on fire, and then makes sure her mouth is full of strawberries because she knows he's extremely allergic. Best wedding kiss ever, right? And then we decided to do a little bonus. We wanted to see if audiobooks are something you'd like as part of book club. And Lorrainne and Meg Ann have a series called The Mate Games. You get to listen to Book 1, Obsession. It's a paranormal reverse harem that's done with duet narration. And the cast of narrators is insanely good. So, Joybringers have tons to look forward to. If you want to join, check out our website. The link is in the show notes.
All right, so Lillian, P.S.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Is going off, and she's like, he's not going to die, you know. It's only nice, saintly people who suffer untimely deaths. She gave a quiet laugh, whereas selfish bastards like St. Vincent live to torment other people for decades.
Yeah, and Evie's like,
it's all
I love
like
him.
that.
I love him, Lillian. And Lillian's like, you can't. Come on.
Oh,
like,
you sweet dum-dum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bless your heart. You idiot. Wow. You've fallen for it. Oh.
I do love that that's what, like, the route she takes instead of, like, being mad at her for falling in love with her would-be rapist. She's just like, oh, you sweet summer child. Like, you have no idea this man is taking you for all you're worth.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
So then they do that actual medicine, and he gets better. And
there's garlic juice involved, vinegar,
and actual turpentine.
Vinegar and turpentine, pine tree resin.
That's after all the, and then a honey poultice, because honey is actually a really good antibacterial. FYI, well, it is.
Mm-hmm.
What are you?
Honey doesn't kill bacteria, but it stops it.
Yeah. What is that? Not what an antibacterial is?
I thought an antibacterial has to murder it.
Oh, I didn't know there was a difference.
Antibacterial had to scare it off.
Well, it sounds like honey does the scaring off, you know?
Yeah.
Or like the barricade, maybe?
Like
and then the antibacterial is like axes.
Heaving bosoms is not doctors.
We do science very little.
No, yeah.
We're sort of an Evie, except we listen to smart people.
We do. We listen to the doctors. But we are not doctors.
We're Evie in the second half. You know,
yes.
Act 2, we're Act 2 Evies.
Act 2 Evie.
Act 1 Evies can go fuck themselves.
Act 2 Evie does not listen to that doctor. I don't know if you remember.
He wasn't a doctor, he was a quack.
But he's the one with the medical license. All of these people are just saying folk remedies. They just happen to be the things that work.
They're better remedies.
I know! In real life they are. It's just we're saying we listen to doctors, but in the thing, the doctor is the one that's wrong. Listen to doctors. Make this all, do the right thing, HBs.
Yeah, listen to the CDC and stuff.
The doctors. Now times doctors.
Now times, right.
Yeah.
So he gets so better that, well, also she sleeps for like 3 days because she's been up for a week tending him.
She like closes her eyes and then 3 days go by.
Yeah, and Lillian comes in and she's like, I have good news and bad news. The bad news, or the good news, is that he's better, and the bad news is that you're probably going to have to be married to him for the rest of your
whole life. It's the worst. Gross. And she says, hey, Westcliff thinks that he's like in love with you. What's that about? And Evie's like, no, God, no. Of course he's not. He says it all the time.
Right.
And then she says, you would appeal. Westcliff says that you would appeal to St. Vincent's deepest fantasy.
Oh,
deepest, most secretest fantasy, which is like a good lady likes him, like a good, innocent, pure lady likes him,
sees his merits,
sees who he really is underneath all his bluster. Hot,
which is really funny because as soon as you said you appealed to his deepest fantasies, I immediately thought lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets.
Well, she's kind of that too.
Yeah. Okay, so now he turns into a terrible patient. All of a sudden, as soon as he's a tiny bit better, he is cantankerous. He's mad that he's not healed immediately. It's so hot. He's always ringing the bell to make her come back.
Yes.
And so she gives him a bath.
He keeps ringing the bell because he misses her.
Wait. Okay, wait.
Okay.
I do have one thing to read, okay? So he's sitting there and it's his inner monologue and it says, he who had never feared anything was terrified of the power she had over him. And he was afraid of his own desire to have her with him every minute of the day, to stare at her, to hear her voice. He craved her touch. His skin seemed to drink in every caress of her fingers, as if the sensation of her could be woven into the human fabric of his body. It was different from mere sexual need. It was some kind of pathetic, full-blown addiction, for which there seemed to be no remedy.
Love.
I know. So she bathes him and shaves him and stuff. Remember how he taught her how to shave? She now uses it on him.
Yep.
And then she's soaked. Okay, all of her clothes are wet, and you can almost like see her nipples and stuff.
Listen,
What?
he keeps ringing that bell all the time because he misses her.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really need things, and he's annoying the shit out of her because she keeps turning around and coming back, and then he's just like,
Can I tell you what he needs now?
yeah, well, yeah.
She comes in and she's like, yes, darling. And he's like, I need my curtains open. It's so dark in here. And she's like, you couldn't have waited 4 minutes for me to get changed? And he's like, do you notice how dark it is in here? Because it's super dark. And she's like, okay, I can absolutely do that. And she does. And she looks at me and she goes, anything else, my sweeting?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, there's a speck in my water. So I need you to get the speck out of my water. So she comes over and she's like, it's funny, I don't see a speck. And he's like, do you want to argue with me about the obvious speck, or do you just want to get me a new water? And she's like, I'd love to get you a new water, you absolute dreamboat. And then and he's like, and my bandage, gosh, it's so uncomfortable. It's so tight, and I can't reach it, with my big man arms. Certainly can't reach it. I need another person's arms, preferably yours.
Touch me.
And so she comes over, and he talks about the way the glance of her hand against his back, and the way that he just like melts over it and stuff. And so she says, you know what I think, you adorable person, is that you just ring the bell because you might be lonely. Do you think that's the case? He's like, lonely? I've never been lonely in my life. I love my own company. Lonely? How dare you? And she's like, I don't know. I just think that if you wanted me to be around, it's very cute. And then
this is when she does it, right?
Wait. So also the other thing he said is that when she's touching him, she touches his chest. She like fingers her wedding ring, and he's like,
take it off.
Take it off. Put it on the dresser. Off. I don't like it. I hate it. It's so annoying.
It gets in the way. And she's like, gets in the way of what? And he's like, stuff that I like to do. It gets in the way of it.
And so then she walks over like enough feet away, and she starts undoing her chemise, and she's like, oh no, before that, no. Okay, yeah. So she's sitting on the edge of the bed, and she's like, and you know what else I think? And he's like, what? What is it possibly that you could think? I'm trying to rest over here. You're so loud. And she's like, I think that you're going to lose the bet. And he's like, what?
I'm bedridden.
I am not in any condition to pursue women. And she's like, I don't think you're going to lose it with other women. I think you're going to lose it with me. And he's like, you cheater McGee. And she's like, watch this cheater McGee take off of all of her clothes, button snaps, all the things,
ties,
those. And he's like, no, stop. I couldn't possibly.
No, I have a gunshot wound. Whoa. And she's like, oh, darling, I will be gentle with you. So don't worry. It's so good.
And then she gets up and then he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I can feel her whole body against me. And she puts her leg between his legs and he's like, I can feel that muff on my hip. Oh no.
And he's like, stop it. I'm going to do the bet. I'm going to prove this to you that I need to
prove myself.
And then he's like, nah, stop doing that though.
And she's like, I think maybe I'm going to try to go down on you for the first time in my life. And he almost loses his mind. And then she crawls up him and he's like, no, really, Evie, we can't. I need to prove myself. And she goes, I didn't make this much fuss on our wedding night. And I was a virgin. So
like, maybe
can you just
shut
cool
up?
It?
Yeah.
Hold my beer. Good. I'm going to put it in me. Okay. So, boy, they have that sex.
They do it.
Back to you, Barbara.
She does. Put it in her. Back to you, Barbara.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's like revelatory, and it's everything he needs. It's the itch he didn't know he needed scratched.
It's good. And now he's healed. He looks under the bandage, and it's just smooth skin under there. Woo-hoo! It's good. But part of the bet was that if he lost the bet, not only did he not get to have sex with her forever, but also he had to apologize to Lord Westcliff,
right,
for that teensy tiny little kidnap.
The super
so then,
forgivable rape threat. you
yeah,
know?
she basically like climbs off him and is like, "Oh no, you did lose that bet. So now you have to apologize to Lord Westcliff. Like that's rough."
Actually, what she says is, "We're gonna have to think of a new forfeit."
Oh, because he did already.
I know you apologized to your best friend and my best friend, and he thinks to himself, "God damn it, I did it on purpose when she wasn't there." I hate that she knows. It's so
He's
cute.
the best.
Okay, so the next night he's back downstairs. He's at the hazard tables, the hazard room, maybe is what it's called, the room with the tables and the gambling.
Sure.
And Westcliff is impressed, and he's got news about the gun that Bullard used. And she thanks him for saving her husband's life, and he looks at her dead in the face, and he says, "Evie, you saved his life when you asked him to marry you." Woo! Everybody is so swoon! All right, so she goes upstairs, and she decides that she's going to sleep in his room. She's done playing games with him.
Yep.
She is not going to beat around the bush. She wants to sleep with her husband. It's what she's going to do. So he comes in, and his necktie is open, you know? And he ambles over to her, and he looks at her, and he says, "I want to make love to you."
He says some romance stuff. How did you feel about that big make love?
No, I loved it. I loved every
You
moment
did?
of it. I
You
did.
guys, you heard it here
new.
first.
I know. He's totally flipped me inside out.
Yep.
I don't know what's happening. I'm in
He
the
called her
upside down.
child. He says words like make love, and Melody ate it up with a spoon.
A shovel. So I literally got into the trough. I had to get so I just made Erin do a spit take. I just made Erin do a spit take.
It into my nose, just imagining Melody just like diving into a trough and just going.
I was basically in one of those horrendous ramen baths that are apparently a thing now.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, horrifying. For the record,
it's your
HPs,
fault, and it's
I'm
your
anti.
fault. Yeah, of course Melody's anti making a soup bath, but it's your fault that I had to see it because all those HBs are like food in a bathtub. What do you guys think of this?
You can't eat that shit.
Different. But if you hadn't said that you like to eat crackers and stuff and float around in your bathtub with all your food and your like charcuterie tray.
Listen,
I wouldn't have ever had to know about ramen baths. Noodles just floating around in a bathtub.
I just want it noted for the record, HBs, that I do not eat food that has basically touched my asshole. And I'm a little pissed that you thought I would. So,
you know what else I had to look at because of your bath meals is the meme that goes around with the styrofoam plates that has the cheese
that's brilliant.
puffs and stuff. Oh,
brilliant. You can't move.
The thing is, it's like clockwork. Like every 3 months, a new HB stumbles into the group and is like, "Have you guys seen this?" And then 50 people are like, and it's like, "You guys are late to this party. I have seen it. It's gross. It's gross." And then 3 months later, "Hi, I'm Annabelle. Have you guys seen this?" And then 3 months later, "I'm Julie. Have you guys seen this?" It's re-traumatizing me every time. Those styrofoam plates
keep it
floating in that bathtub.
Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Keep it coming. Okay, so all right.
No means no.
Okay. Only one half of us said no, though. So
You're right. But both of us say no to ramen bath. Please stop posting it. It grosses me out.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
We're done with that. Also, stop it with all the wheat and the sodium all over your body. I don't know how that helps. Anyway, maybe the sodium pulls out. No, that's gonna just put toxins into your body.
Listen,
there's MSG in there. Probably.
HBs is not dermatologists.
No. I tried to be it's so sodium, but also Epsom salt. But I also know that's not salt. But also you can put rock salt in baths, which helps with the detoxifying. Because it does pull things out of your body, maybe.
That. I don't know if that's science. Just everybody talk to doctor. Okay.
Oh, sorry. So she says, "I thought you didn't use the term make love." And he says, "I want to fill every part of you, breathe the air from your lungs, leave my handprints on your soul. I want to give you more pleasure than you can bear. I want to make love to you, Evie, as I have never done with anyone before." Oh my gosh.
Hot.
Oh, and then she's like
Yes.
naked on the bed and stuff, and he's over her, and he does this whole monologue about how he thought he wasn't a family man, but he thinks he could do all of that with her.
He wants to have a baby.
Oh, and he's like, I think that...
He wants to have a baby that then grows up and fucks in other books.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's what he wants.
Like the hero he is. You know?
Oh, yeah. Big speech about how he wants her to have his baby. It's
also he does a
fine.
bit. I think this is where he does the self-deprecate, where
He does.
says,
He does.
He says, like, I don't know if I can be half a good husband or father, but your standards are so low, I think I have half a chance of making you happy or something.
Yeah, it was almost verbatim what Melody said. I'm looking at it right now.
It's so good. Okay. So then they do one of those snuggle fucks. What is... It's true. I forget what they're called.
What they're called?
The snuggle fucks. What are they called? It's a position. It's a position. It's a spoon. They're
From
spooning.
behind? Like a Wall of Winnipeg special? Like, what? What do you mean what it's called?
Oh shit! A Wall of Winnipeg special.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you are, because he also pulls her leg all the way over him, and he does a big clip diddle.
What
and
an
that
incredible
motherfucker-
move, pulling your leg up. Yeah, ooh,
No,
that
I
makes
was-
it so different than the Wall of Winnipeg.
Back up.
I'm backed up.
He does the
Okay,
clip
listen.
diddle. He does a big dirty DJ on her clip.
Listen. Was this 100% 1,000 times better than the two schlurfs and a schnorpel that was the Wall of Winnipeg?
Especially
What did you call it?
Wall of Winnipeg.
Snuggle fuck?
Snuggle fuck.
100%. I'm just trolling you. I'm sorry.
Wall of Winnipeg also didn't have an abdominal injury. He wasn't shot 10 days ago. All right, everybody. He was supposed to be a professional athlete.
And he just schnurfed twice and did a schnorfel, and then it was
He
done.
did a
And then it
schnorfel
was
right
like,
up
this
there.
is the last page of the book.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you for reading 700 pages. Blurp, blurp, blurp.
Thank you for reading 700 pages about marathons and graphic design and quinoa and puzzles. And minions! How dare she?
I couldn't catch my breath to say it. All right, okay. We love you, Mariana Zapata fans.
We do.
Please.
Love us back.
This is a safe space for you, too.
We also make a lot of fun of ourselves.
We
You know,
liked Lukov.
It's done with love.
We like Lukov.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So, okay.
They do it.
They do that, right? But then afterwards, he pulls out of her before he comes, and then he does a go down on her until she comes again. And then he crawls up her, and they're doing some missionary sex. And he's like, I need you to do one more thing, Evie. I need you to do it for me. And she's like, what can I possibly do for you? And he's like, I need you to come one more time. And she's like, I can't.
She's sleepy.
I can't.
Try.
I'm only human.
And then she's like, nah, never mind, I can. Whoops, turns out I can.
I might be only human, but you, St. Vincent, are superhuman. In the bedroom.
So then they do some pillow talks.
No.
and she-
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I have
sorry.
to read. I have to read about his coming. This doesn't happen often. I do want to say there were a couple of times in here that was like she milked out his voluptuous spurts. It's not here. It's earlier. Like that kind of stuff. You know, there's a little bit of that in here. But now he comes and it says he shook in her arms and clenched his hands into the warm spill of her hair as he gave himself over to her completely, worshipping her with every part of his body and spirit. Because it's new. It's brand new, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like this changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
She has changed everything, Erin.
Mm-hmm.
In his whole
She's
life.
changed him. She saved his life the day that she asked him to marry her.
All right. So now, the next morning, she can't believe what happened. She's like, OMG, we're together foreversies. And, because he also put the
it's
ring
the
back on her
next day
finger.
Oh,
Didn't he?
yeah.
He did that ring back on her finger. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next morning, Westcliff comes in, and he says, Egan is the one who gave the pistol to Bullard.
Right.
He found that out via some old-timey detectiving that I don't even want to get into.
Yeah, whatever.
And so it's a mandate. It's time for a mandate. Because they've got to go talk to Bullard. Nope, to Egan.
Sure. They go do that. Like, I feel like we can wrap this up pretty quickly now, right?
Oh, yeah. So they get to Egan's house, and he's like, yeah, so Bullard is a big syphilis. Very late stage syphilitic.
Bad syphilis.
Yeah, so going a little mad. And so I did take him to that syphilis hospital. And
I took him out to the syphilis farm.
Out to the syphilis pasture.
Yeah.
Put him out there.
There's a lot of, it's green.
Yeah.
he has lots of fields he can run and play in.
He's going to think about all the bunnies.
Yeah.
You know?
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine for him at the syphilis.
Thank you, John Steinbeck. You're better than Jack London, but,
Slightly.
I know.
Slightly.
Okay, so then he comes back and he's like, Evie, it's over. I'm so glad that you're here. He was, in fact, your brother, probably.
Mm-hmm.
He is dead. He died in that hospital. I saw the grave personally myself because I'm so hot that even with an injury, I go do all my own legwork.
Right.
When it comes to you, then they do it.
He was buried in like an unmarked pit with all the other syphilis people.
Yeah. It was syphilis times. So
yeah.
It's
I'm
sad.
just saying, it's not like he saw a gravestone that was like, Mr. Bullard lies here.
Joss Bullard lays here.
It's not like that.
It's not like a poor Judd is dead situation
It's
at
like,
all.
these are the ones that died on Tuesday. They're in here, is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we find out that he is the best casino boss fucking ever. He's so skilled and he's so charming and fair and wonderful.
They write about him in all the newspapers.
Yeah, and she runs into a dude who looks at him, looks over the place, and he's like, I've only ever seen one other man go around a casino like this, and his name was assuredly Derek Craven. Because I recognize Derek Craven's greatness in St. Vincent.
But you're better. That's weird.
Yeah, sure.
There's just something about you that just shines.
I don't know. Listen, Craven didn't make coziness a priority.
Yeah,
so...
he didn't prioritize coziness.
Yeah.
He's not as silver-tongued. There are just a few things about you that are just, like, better.
Yeah, and Derek Craven can also probably do a better strangle, you know?
He definitely can do
fine.
a better strangle. A more effective strangle, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he does, in fact, strangle.
He does put his hands around a person's neck.
St. Vincent
and
does
squeeze.
not do a squeeze.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only does the verbal.
He does
strangle.
like a hand there, but then he doesn't squeeze because he's freaked out by it.
Yeah, but then he like comes down and like touches your boobs a little bit, you know?
That's his strangle.
Okay, so the club is a big success. She's seeing all the praise in the papers, and then she's like, oh no, as soon as I'm out of my mourning period, I'm going to be expected to like be the belle of the ball because everybody's going to want St. Vincent at their parties. Right. Oh no! And he comes in and he's like, babe, what's the matter? You've got
you want to
such
do
a
it or
frown
what?
on your face.
And she's like, I'm so worried because I'm a stutterer and I'm not going to be able to be. I'm a wallflower.
Yeah.
You don't understand what it was like for me. Remember how you wouldn't even talk to me because I was such a stutterer and like people are going to expect me to go to all these parties and I have social anxiety.
And so he pulls a chair up into her face and he says, you need to be who you are because who you are is perfect. And if you want to hang out in corners, that's fine too. I'm going to do you behind all the potted plants.
He
Just
didn't
take
say
me
that.
into the
He
corners
didn't.
with you.
No,
he literally said that. He says, I'll debauch you in gazebos and dark hallways and behind all the potted plants.
He did not say potted plants.
Fuck
Melody.
you. Do a search.
Behind potted plants, he said. Potted. P-O-T-T-E-D. Plant. P-L-A-N-T. Plant. Search. Oh my God.
Potted fucking plants.
Behind assorted potted plants, he says. On balconies, beneath staircases. Oh my God. Hot.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
My brain is very hot.
You agree that it does sound like Melody fan fiction.
It does.
All right. Okay.
It actually does. But that's because St. Vincent and I have the same brain and we're perfect for each other.
Shut your mouth. It's okay. I'm not a jealous woman.
What? That's...
Oh, but Melody is. It seems
What?
like.
Erin Erin!
Yeah, what?
Of the two of us who are going to get jealous, come on.
Me? Me?
Yeah.
You think it would be me? You've literally threatened to murder all of my friends that aren't you. Have you? Deny it. Deny it.
That was, again, St. Vincent and I have the same brain. We do a big threat and we never follow through. We're very funny that way. We're super comedy gold, you know? We do everything for the bit. So. All right. So back to fucking behind potted plants. And then he tells her to go upstairs and take a bath. And he's like, I'll be up there as soon as you're done. Go have a relaxing, wonderful bath and be the lady of the house. So she goes up there and she's undressing and there's an icicle that trails up her spine. And she's like,
Slithers.
oh no. She turns around and Joss Bullard is there.
He's there.
Done.
He's very pussy and very bad looking.
Yeah.
And he has a gun.
He does have a big knife.
A knife. He does have a very knife.
It's a big one though.
It's ready for a stab or a big slash.
I mean, I think it's so big that it might actually put out projectiles.
So a gun. Is it a gun?
No, it's actually a knife. I was just trying to, give you a little bit more credit.
No, I think we could just go with me being wrong. He does have that knife.
It's probably going to do a big slash.
He does swoosh at her with the knife, and then he does listen, I herbed a lot of it, okay?
Listen, here's what happens.
He doesn't threaten her, tries to murder her with the knife.
Well, there's a maid outside, and she sees him, and she's like, I gotta go get everyone. And then he grabs Evie, and he's like, you ruined my life. You took everything from me. Our dad hid me away like a dirty chamber pot, which was really good imagery for a syphilis guy, you know?
Ew. Yeah.
And then he grabs her, and he puts the knife to her throat, and he's like, you and me, we're gonna go see our dad in hell together. And it's going to be great. Then Sebastian comes in and he's like, easy. He does the horse girl thing, you know?
Well, I'll let Melody take it from here because she knows what the horse girl thing is.
So he's like, easy.
How does it
now.
go?
Whoa.
Easy girl, easy girl.
He's like, we'll help you. You can convalesce here. We'll get you all the medicines. We'll make sure you're not in pain. And he's like, you're doing me a false. And Sebastian's like, I would never. And so he lets Evie go a little bit and bang, thwack. Cam shoots him from the hallway. Oh no. So he's dead. Kerflunk.
He died.
He's on the ground
yay.
now.
Actually, yay.
Yeah, big yay. But Evie is torn because she's like, he was letting me go. And both of them were like, yeah, for 30 seconds until he changed his mind again.
Yeah, he's super crazy.
Yeah, he's not illogical right now.
And he was in a lot of pain and we probably did the right thing here.
Yeah, and Cam's like, nobody should have to suffer like that. But he also just killed somebody that he actually grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bad. So then Sebastian puts her in a room and he's like, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I got to take care of illegal stuff. Mm-hmm. And he and Cam go downstairs to fix everything. And then when he comes back up the next morning, he's like, Evie, I have to send you to the country. I have to send you to the country
time.
Because it's danger. And I can't have you near, and I'll visit you every once in a while. And she's like, the fuck you will? How dare you? You might be able to send me away, but you're not going to be able to stop me from coming back time after time because I'm in love with you. And I deserve to be with you, and I deserve happiness and all the cunt licks I want.
Oh, God.
And you're the man for me.
Yeah.
It's much more poetic, though, when they said it.
Yeah, when she says it. It's very sweet. And that is like the end, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
So she comes toward him. And he's like, Evie, no. A shiver ran through him as she reached up to the sides of his face, her fingers gentle on his skin. It's not what you think, he said unsteadily. She heard a trace of fear in his voice. The fear that a small boy must have felt when every woman he loved had disappeared from his life, swept away by a merciless fever.
Yeah.
And so she's like, you need to give me a chance to love you unconditionally, just like I know you love me unconditionally with my freckles and my stammer. And he's like, you don't be an idiot. Your freckles are wonderful. And I would never
love those
care
freckles.
About your stammer. God.
Who told you that I would ever make fun of your stammer? Me? Yeah. Earlier in the book? How dare?
They were wrong. she says, I love you and I need you to love me back and not in half measures. And he says, half measures? My God, I love you so much that I'm drowning in it. I can't defend against it. I don't know who I am anymore. All I know is that if I give into it entirely, he tried to control the anarchy of his breath. You mean too much to me, he said raggedly. But then she does talk him into it, and then they smooch and it's over.
It's the end. Well, I was right about it being the end.
Yeah,
you just wanted to read it all out loud.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to say that I was right.
You were correct, Erin.
Yeah.
So right.
Yeah.
So
I'm
right.
not a jealous person, but I am a person who's right. Who needs it known?
Indeed. All right. Wow. Do you have a lady love?
I'll think of one.
I have a lady love.
Okay.
For Christmas, Michael got me a weighted scarf.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because sometimes you can't go and sit down and put on a weighted blanket if you're feeling really anxious. Sometimes there's still stuff you have to do, whether it's computer work or getting kids lunch or walking around wherever. You need to live your life through anxiety sometimes. And so he got me a weighted scarf, and I just put it on my shoulders, and I can still like move about and get stuff done, and yet I feel like I'm being hugged the whole time.
I love feeling like being hugged.
Me too.
But without like a person there, that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing impedes my movements like a person would. Like a whole person on my shoulders would be quite the trial. But the weighted scarf, on the other hand, is real nice. And you can also like put it on your lap if you want to, if you're sitting down. Yeah, it's great.
I don't know. I don't have a lady love. I don't know.
I love that you're just looking at your bookshelf. It's not gonna...
Sometimes it does.
What's over there that you're looking at?
Oh, there's a water bottle, legal pads, fitness orb, shred pile. Split your shred. Do you need shredded? I did some puzzles.
Oh. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I don't know.
That's okay. Stay hydrated, HBs.
You know what?
Oh.
I've got it.
Tell me everything.
Do you see my water bottle has so much stickers on it?
I do.
They make me so happy. You go on the internet.
I see our charity sticker that says Read Black Romance on it. That's hot.
I got one of those. I've got much X-Files stickers on here, and I've got magician stickers, and I've got that sticker I got at KissCon, some brewery stickers. Stickers are great, and you can put them anywhere, and it's a thing from childhood that you can hang on to, and they can give you joy. I love a sticker.
There you go. I love it, too.
Yep, stickers. You
All
can
right,
literally
HBs.
give yourself gold stars if you need to.
Woo, yeah, indeed.
Stickers.
All right, HBs. You can find us on all the places. Instagram is @heavingbosoms. Twitter's is @heaving_bosoms. And we do fun shit online. We just participated in a rom-com tournament that we fucking won.
We won.
Yeah.
Won.
Okay. Oh my God. Can I just tell you real quick that I told
No,
Michael-
Patreon. We're doing it on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. You can find out the funny thing that Michael said to me about this tournament on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/heavingbosoms podcast.
Yes.
You can also just go there, go to our website, which is heavingbosoms.com, and it's got Patreon, it's got all of our other shit, Reading Embrace, all the stuff. And Facebook, we've got the page, and then we've also got the group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult, which you should join because it's pure joy. You do have to answer the questions.
You have to answer those questions.
You know what? This has been happening a lot. If you invite somebody to join the group,
They have to answer the questions.
well, and they don't get a notification to answer the questions. So you have to be like, I just invited you to this magical place. Check your notifications and figure out how to answer the questions.
Yeah, because we have 20 in there a day that are like, so-and-so invited such and such. And then that person never answers the questions. And eventually we just have to get rid of them in the list.
Yeah. And also, If your friend is not in there and you invited them forever ago, it's probably because they did not answer the question. So, like,
Also,
invite them again. Let them know.
If you're coming into the group and like your thing is like a little bit snarky toward either me or Melody, we're the ones that read those. Okay?
Yeah,
we're
we
the
do.
ones that read them.
Mhm.
It's us.
Yep. We hand over a lot of control to the moderators. That is not one of the things.
Yeah.
But also,
All right.
to all the people who write incredibly sweet and funny and
nice
awesome things, thank you, because we read it and it makes us feel so good.
It makes us feel so great. Also, the reviews on iTunes.
Oh my
and
gosh,
Stitchers
yeah.
and all those other ones.
Yeah,
Great.
we have
Make
that
us feel
goal
great.
of hitting 1,000 by the end of the year.
reviews.
And HBs, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, review us. It's so
Review
fun.
us.
And it makes my heart sore. And, like, on Thursday, when I'm like, oh, fuck, I still have to edit the episode. If I see a new review, I'm like, of course I need to. The HBs need me. And I get a bigger shot of motivation.
You don't have to write anything like, super snazzy in there. You can just be like, they make good podcast.
Right.
They do good podcasts.
If you only want to rate us, that's fine too.
That's fine. But it's better if you write in there.
We do love it when you
Good
write
job
stuff.
on podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be snazzy.
They give good podcast. That'd be fine.
Great
Whatever.
job.
Yeah.
You did
All right.
it. Okay.
So, keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love a snuggle fuck.
One of those snuggle fucks. The Wall of Winnipeg special, apparently.
No, not that one. That's the spectrum. It's like Wall of Winnipeg special to like Sebastian St. Vincent Snugglefuck is that's the pinnacle. That Wall of Winnipeg one is on the bottom there, unfortunately.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I will do anything for Erin. I'd run right into hell and back. I will do anything for Erin. I'll never lie to you, and that's a fact. But I'll never forget the way you feel right now. Oh no. No way. I will do anything for Erin. I will do anything for Erin. I will do anything for Erin. But I won't give up St. Vincent.
I will not fuck this man who's fictional. And you could ensconce a penis with your vagina.
And I have.